Entertaining a toddler is hard work. As a mother of a toddler son, I know this very well, and every day is a new adventure for him, which I really enjoy watching develop. Since he's been an infant, I've been very invested in his cognitive development, and at this particular stage of development, what I'm really interested in is his motor skills and his tactile learning skills. So I try to use arts and crafts, and I have since infancy on, in different facets in order to help build these skill sets. So what I found to be particularly cool and a fun project to do at this particular age is to make homemade Play-Doh. And so with just a few household staples, you can actually turn them into a real educational experience for any child in your life. And it's really fast, it's foolproof, and it's close to free, so who can beat that? So today what I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate is how to use simple arts and crafts and help spark a child's creativity and ingenuity as well as growth by creating one of my favorite throwback toys, which is Play-Doh. So what we're going to go ahead and do today is I'm going to demonstrate how to make colorful Play-Doh at home. So first what we're going to do is we're going to actually combine the ingredients and cook the Play-Doh. Followed by we're going to discuss a few helpful hints and tips that you can use while making your Play-Doh that will also help your Play-Doh last longer. And then finally we're going to show just how fun homemade Play-Doh can be for any kid in your life. So as I said, this is an easy, fast, and pretty much foolproof recipe to create Play-Doh. And I think that it's great for any child in your life, and it also is a very unique opportunity for you to go ahead and create a unique bonding experience with a child in your life as a caregiver. So what we're first going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and get the ingredients together. So the first main ingredient would be any all-purpose unbleached flour. You're going to need 2 cups of this unbleached all-purpose flour. And I go ahead and I just use any store brand, whatever is the cheapest. And then we have 2 cups of water. Some recipes call for cold, some call for warm. I just let it come to room temperature, and I use 2 cups of that. So we'll go ahead and we'll add that in. All right. Then we're going to go ahead and add in 1 cup of salt. Some recipes actually use sea salt. I use iodized. I think it works just fine. So we'll go ahead and we'll add that in. Then we're going to go ahead and add in some cream of tartar powder. If you don't have it lying around the house, a lot of people don't, that's okay. It is optional. Pretty much the reason that you add it is just to improve the elasticity of the Play-Doh, but it is pretty elastic on its own without it. And then finally, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. Okay, so once we have our mixture, what we'll go ahead and do is we'll mix it. Now ideally, you would be doing this in a medium-sized saucepan. You would not want to do it in a bowl, but I'm just doing it in the bowl for the purposes of this demonstration to show you what the consistency would be. So we're going to go ahead, and if we were to pretend that we were making this in a medium-sized saucepan, we would go ahead and we would mix the mixture together. And the consistency that you're looking for is pretty much any kind of Sunday morning pancake batter. That's what we're looking for. So once you go ahead and you get that mixed really well, what you're going to go ahead and do is put it on the stove in that medium saucepan, and you're going to put it on low heat. I typically put it on about 3 to 4. All right, and then what you'll do is you'll just let that cook down for a while. And you're going to see 2 things that are going to start to happen. The first is that it's going to start pulling away from the sides of the pan, and that's how you know that it's cooking properly. It's going to start pulling away from the pan and making an actual dough form. And you're also going to see that it's going to become less runny. And those are the two signs that you're on the right track in terms of cooking your dough. And then once your dough is completely pooled into the middle, and it'll form a ball, and it's no longer sticky, it doesn't have any residue when you run your finger across it, then you know that it's done. So this is what it pretty much looks like when it's done, and it does form kind of a hard mass in the saucepan. What you want to make sure to do first before you go ahead and pull it out like this is you let it cool for a while, you let it cool down, let the dough set up. And then what I like to do is I like to go ahead and then just kind of squish it out here. And that's another way that you can go ahead and cool it if you don't have a lot of time to just let it sit. If you have kids that really want to go ahead and play with it, you can go ahead and let it cool like that. And then what I do is I just go ahead and I divide it up into balls. Now, any food coloring will work. You can do primary colors, you can mix colors or do seasonal colors. We have Halloween coming up, so black and orange would be a really neat idea, maybe purple. But once you go ahead and you have as many balls of Play-Doh as you want, what you would go ahead and do is just add the food coloring to each one. And you can let the kids help you with this. I often use gloves because I don't like my fingers to be stained with food coloring for days after. But then you can go ahead and just mix the dough. And it's pretty much it's pretty much whatever you want to do in terms of how intense or vibrant you want the colors to be. Obviously, you would add more food coloring. So we have that. And then the finished product. So once you went ahead and you actually by hand mixed all of the food coloring that you desire into your balls of Play-Doh, what you want to go ahead and do is, of course you can play with it, but you also want to make sure that you can store it. If you go ahead and you actually store your Play-Doh in like a Tupperware container and you just put it in your fridge, it can last for a few weeks actually. And I do believe that when you make it by hand, it does seem to have a longer lifespan than your typical Play-Doh. So this is what the Play-Doh looks like when you're finished. And again, it's a whole lot of fun to play with. It's going to, of course, encourage tactile learning and motor development in any kids, as well as modeling skills, which are also important. Okay. So today I demonstrated how to make fun and inexpensive homemade Play-Doh for all of the children in your life, including maybe even yourself, because I know I really like to play with Play-Doh. So we discussed all the ingredients that are part of making Play-Doh, and we also went through the process of cooking the Play-Doh. Then we talked about some helpful hints that you can use while making your Play-Doh in terms of ingredients and the cooking process, and also keeping your Play-Doh fresh for weeks to come. Finally, we demonstrated just how fun Play-Doh can be and why it is an educative tool for young children and those in your life. So, although simple, making your own modeling clay can be a great way to model ingenuity and resourcefulness to the children in your life. And it can also be a great way to cook up your next memorable family moment. So I do encourage you all to go ahead and make Play-Doh with the children in your life, and thank you for watching.